Okay, let's talk about tracking a little bit. Obviously, um, big key ingredient here is having your Facebook pixel set up on your site and on the pages you want it to be set up on. Um, so in order to do that, there's a couple different ways. Obviously, if you have a developer, that's the easiest way. The second easiest way is to have Google Tag Manager, which I highly suggest. It doesn't really matter if you have, like WordPress or Wix or Squarespace or Shopify or Magento or BigCommerce. Doesn't matter. The easiest way is to put one piece of JavaScript on your site, and then put everything else in Google Tag Manager. So if you haven't seen Google Tag Manager, check it out. I highly suggest it. It'll make your life so much easier. You'll be able to do things without having to actually go in the back of your site, go in the code every time, and hopefully, hope that you don't screw it up completely. So check that out. Now, in order to get tracking set up, I always suggest that you hook up your Facebook Pixel as well as your Google Analytics. Reason being is because it's always better to have more data, period. In order to set it up, obviously you go in here and say, hey, use an integration or tag manager. Boom, there you go. Or manually encode it yourself or send the instructions to developer. So when you're looking at the code yourself, this is really it. This is it. So you hit that and it'll copy that right to your thing here. Now, when we get into doing some more advanced things, obviously I would say just start out with that. And then once you've added that in, you can then create custom conversions. For myself, I'm a little OCD. So usually what I will do is I will put generate lead, or I'll name the lead. I'll name it something very specific. And this will kind of go right in your tracking, right in that code. And so I think what I really need to do is just show you what that would look like. Let's just pull up a Word document real quick. Okay, so if you were to paste your code, obviously you just go like that. There's the code. So this is your pixel. That's basically your little number. It's your identification piece. This is what it's tracking. So it is tracking page view. So every time someone goes on the page and this script loads, says, it's been triggered, page view. So what we do is if we want to add in, we want to make something a lead, we would just go FBQ, and then track, and then lead. Easy enough, right? Or we could name this anything else we want. We could call it, for me, I work with a lot of mortgage clients, so I could call it mortgage lead. Or if I work with a realtor, I could call it purchase lead, right? And so anyways, that page view will fire, but this will also fire as well. Now, if you don't want to do that, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, especially, if you our work in purchases and things like that, and you're like, hey, I have this huge catalog of products that people can buy. I can't put that in there for every single one of them. Totally understand. And this is where you can add in, when you go to custom conversions, right? So you create your custom conversion in here. And like I said, see, I have no custom conversions because everything I do is just strictly within the code. But if I wanted to, I could say, okay, we're going to create a conversion. Anyone who goes to page that ends in thank you, and they will be a lead, right? And then I categorize it as well, and give it a value if it has a value, and then I can create that. Boom, done. And then obviously I can take this custom conversion, right? Which is important to have. It's important to have them flowing, especially. So if I choose the add objective conversions, I will need to have some sort of conversion set up. So I will need the code to be tracking, or I will need a custom conversion set up on the back end here. Either way, I'll have to select something. I'll say, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is the very specific conversion we're looking for, which is a lead. Or this is the very specific conversion we're looking for, which is a purchase of said product or whatever it is, right? So important to understand that too. You have to have something set up so that the machine can learn. And every time it triggers, it's saying it's learning more and more and more because it's tracking all that data. Every individual that comes through there, Facebook's data is like, it's pulling everything. You might not be able to see all of it, but they can for sure. Big brother is watching. So make sure you just have it set up properly. You can do very similar things with goals inside Google Analytics. I just won't get into a huge tirade on, developer speak and whatnot and just bore you to death. But in essence, to make this easier, set up Google Tag Manager, put that on your site. Then go set up Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel into Google Tag Manager, and you can actually set these tags up within Tag Manager. It makes it so simple. You just click the buttons and it does it all for you. All right.